Alright, South Africa, grab a cuppa, sit down, and let's have a proper chinwag, because what I'm about to lay out is going to make your blood boil and your heart race. Picture this, a lone warrior, standing tall in the face of a monstrous criminal syndicate that's got its claws deep in the heart of South Africa. That warrior is Lieutenant General Ndlandla Mkhwanazi, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, a man who's not just fighting crime, but staring down the barrel of corruption so rotten, it's threatening to choke the life out of South Africa. This isn't some Hollywood blockbuster, folks. This is our reality, and it's time we all got off our backsides and rallied behind this bloke who's risking everything to save our country from the criminals running riot. Are you with me? Because if you're not, you might want to ask yourself why you're okay with letting the bad guys win. Let's start with the man himself, Ndlandla Mkhwanazi, a proper South African hero, not one of those flash-in-the-pan types who talk a big game but do bugger all. This guy's been in the trenches since 1993, starting in public order policing and climbing the ranks to head the Special Task Force, the Takkies, those elite coppers who don't mess about. He's got a national diploma and a BA in policing, plus training in counter-terrorism and bomb disposal from here in the States. In 2012, as acting national commissioner, he had the guts to suspend corrupt spy boss Richard Mdluli, a move that got him sacked by Jacob Zuma's cronies. But did he back down? Not a chance. Since taking the helm in KZN in 2018, Mkhwanazi's been a bulldog, sinking his teeth into the province's crime epidemic, especially the political killings that have turned our communities into war zones. This man's not just a copper, he's a symbol of what it means to stand for justice in a country where it's in short supply. So why aren't we shouting his name from every rooftop? Now, let's talk about the Political Killings Task Team, the unit Mkhwanazi's been leading with the kind of grit that'd make your granny proud. Set up in 2018 after President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the family of slain ANC councillor Mkhwanazi Kashana Mtsunu in Pietermaritzburg. This team was a game-changer. It brought together the South African Police Service, SAPS, the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, State Security, and Correctional Services to tackle the bloodbath of political violence in KZN. And blimey, did they deliver! They've investigated 612 case dockets, murders, attempted murders, intimidation, you name it. They've nabbed 436 suspects, recovered 156 firearms, 55 linked to political hits through ballistics, and secured convictions for 128 accused across 106 cases. We're talking 29 life sentences, 40 sentences of 10 to 35 years, and a total of 1,881 years behind bars. That's not just a slap on the wrist, that's justice with a capital J. They even took down 35 dodgy SAPS officers, including one who was in cahoots with a parliamentarian to murder Councillor Mtsunu. Can you believe the cheek of it? Corrupt coppers working with MPs to kill. This is the kind of rot Mkhwanazi's been fighting, and he's not backing down. But here's where it gets proper ugly, and I need you to lean in close, because this is the part that'll make you want to chuck your telly out the window. On July 6, 2025, Mkhwanazi held a press briefing in Durban that was less a briefing and more a Molotov cocktail lobbed at the heart of the ANC government's failures. He laid bare a conspiracy so vile, it's enough to make you question whether we're living in a democracy or a bloody mafia state. He accused Police Minister Senzo Msunu and Deputy National Commissioner Shadrack Sibia of sabotaging the task team's work. On December 31, 2024, Msunu issued a letter to disband the task team and halt crime intelligence vacancies without the say-so of the National Commissioner or Mkhwanazi himself. Then, On 26 March 2025, Sibiya, acting on Mkhwanazi's orders, yanked 121 case dockets from the task team, including 5 ready for arrests, and sent them to gather dust in Pretoria. No investigations, no arrests, nothing. Just a big fat cover-up. Why? Because the task team was getting too close to the truth, that's why. What truth, you ask? Well, hold on to your hats, because this is where it gets wild. Mkhwanazi sent 10 of his task team members to Gauteng to help the Hawks take down a criminal syndicate that's like something out of a crime novel. This isn't just a few low-life thugs. We're talking a drug cartel pulling strings across South Africa and beyond, with politicians, SAPS officers, Metro Police, prosecutors, judges, and business people all in on the action. They nabbed Katiso Membu for the murder of a Transnet contractor in April 2024, along with a SAPS warrant officer, Detective Dawood Blay, and 2 others. They seized an AK-47 and a pistol, which ballistics linked to the murder, and a string of high-profile artist killings in Gauteng going back to 2021. But just as they were closing in, someone pulled the plug. Mkhwanazi says SAPS members under a senior manager's orders tried to disrupt the operation, and then, bam, disbandment letter from Mkhwanazi, dockets yanked, and the task team's project coordinator arrested by the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, IDAC, in a dramatic stunt on June 25, 2025. Coincidence? I think not. Meanwhile, Mkhwanazi's been dodging smear campaigns left, right, and center. In March 2025, IPID tried to pin a dodgy charge on him for allegedly covering up a prison official's drug peddling, only to backtrack and say the complaint was anonymous after initially linking it to Mkhwanazi. The EFF called it a coordinated attack to discredit a man who's been taking on KZN's criminals like a modern-day David against Goliath. And what does Mkhwanazi say? He calls Mkhwanazi's claims baseless and insists he's committed to fighting crime. Pull the other one, mate. It's got bells on it. South Africa's in a right mess, and it's not just KZN. We're talking 70 murders a day, mass shootings like the one in Mitchell's Plain, and high-profile cases like Rapper, AKA's murder, still hanging in the air. Sibiya had the gall to claim Mkhwanazi was stalling the AKA investigation, but Mkhwanazi says they know who did it, just no signed arrest warrants. Why? Because the syndicate's got its hooks in everywhere, from SAPS to the courts. The task team was a rare bright spot, linking firearms to artist murders and traditional leader killings, but now it's been kneecapped. The ANC's been running this show for decades, and what we got? A justice system so compromised, it's a wonder anyone gets convicted at all. The EFF's not wrong when they say we're living in a mafia state, where political office is a shield for criminals and public wealth gets looted while we're all left dodging bullets. So, what's the score, South Africans? Are we going to sit back and let this carry on? Are we going to let Mkhwanazi fight this battle alone, risking his job, his freedom, maybe even his life? He said it himself. I will die for this badge. That's not just talk. That's a man who knows the cost of standing up to corruption and is willing to pay it. He's called on every copper and every citizen to stand firm, to choose justice over the law when the law's been twisted to protect the guilty. The task team's still operational despite Mkhwanazi's best efforts, because Mkhwanazi's got the backing of National Commissioner Fanny Masemola and a team of loyal officers who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. But they can't do it alone. This is our country, our home, and it's being torn apart by crooks in suits and badges who think they're untouchable. Here's where you come in, because this isn't just Mkhwanazi's fight, it's ours. Every South African, whether you're in Jozi, Cape Town, Durban, or some small dorpy, needs to get behind this man. He's not just fighting for KZN, he's fighting for the soul of our nation. And if you're across the globe watching South Africa spiral while hoping for a better future, this is your fight too. Why? Because a South Africa free of crime and corruption is a beacon for the world, a place where justice isn't just a word but a reality. So what's stopping you? Are you going to let the ANC's failures define our future? Or are you going to stand up and say, enough is enough? Mkhwanazi's shown us the way. He's unmasked a syndicate that's got its tentacles in Parliament, SAPS, and the courts. He's got evidence, WhatsApp messages, payments, classified leaks, that proves this isn't just talk. Action essays calling for parliamentary debates, and the public's rallying with hashtags like #HandsOffMkhwanazi on X. Even Ian Cameron, the Police Portfolio Committee Chair, is demanding answers about SAPS deleting a tweet confirming Mkhwanazi's briefing. That's right, SAPS tried to bury this story, but the truth's out, and it's spreading like veld fire. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to let them silence Mkhwanazi, or are you going to make some noise? Here's the deal. We need to amplify this fight. Share Mkhwanazi's story, talk about it at the braai, post it on your socials, and make sure every South African knows what's at stake. The criminals are counting on us to stay quiet, to shrug and say, it's just how things are. But that's not who we are. We're the nation that ended apartheid, that stood up to oppression, that fought for a better tomorrow. Mkhwanazi's out there, combat ready, taking on the Goliath of crime and corruption. Are you going to leave him to face it alone, or are you going to join the charge? Right, here's what you can do, and it's not rocket science. Subscribe to this channel to stay in the loop. Hit that button now, it costs you nothing. Like this video, share it with your mates, and drop a comment below telling us why you're backing Mkhwanazi. Want to go the extra mile? Join our channel membership or chuck us a super thanks donation to keep this fight alive. Even letting the ads play for 30 seconds helps us keep the lights on. Every click, every share, every rand counts in this battle to take back our country. Don't just sit there, do it now because tomorrow might be too late. South Africa, the time for moaning is over. The time for action is now. Ndlandla Mkhwanazi's our David, and the criminals are our Goliath. Let's sling those stones together and bring this monster down. For justice, for our kids, for our future, let's rally maximum support for Mkhwanazi and show the world that South Africans don't back down. Who's with me?